West Texas. The remainder of the state generally low to moderate fire danger, and this should chill its episode out as we get into the weekend and crash. The cold front brings an end to our nice spring-like temperatures and brings us right
Good
back
morning,
into
guys.
January.
How are y'all?
All right,
Is it
let's
morning
get into
still?
the high res.
Yes, good.
Rapid refresh.
I just
model,
wanted to bring you guys some Texas weather.
Again, some
I
scattered
normally
showers
don't do this,
possible
but I
today
saw a
in
video.
proximity
It's not
of the
my
Texas
video.
Gulf
Okay,
Coast, thanks to a storm system out over the western Gulf of Mexico.
I
We'll see thunderstorm
came
chances
across a
generally
video on
remain out over the
YouTube,
Gulf,
and I much
and
rather
for
listen
all
to
intents
what
and purposes, the
YouTube has
highest
to
range
say about
chances for
Texas
more
channel
substantial rain
than our
totals
fake news.
have already passed by the time
Even
you
though
watch this
sometimes
video.
they
So,
tell
as we
you
get
some
into
stuff, sometimes it's not
tonight,
always true.
We'll see rain
But
chances
I came across a
generally
gentleman
diminish,
that
though
I've
some
been
light
watching
rain,
for a while,
mist will
and
remain
he's
possible,
got an
maybe even
interesting
some
YouTube
fog
channel, and all he
across
does
the
is
Rio
weather.
Grande Valley, deep South
And
Texas.
I like
Clouds
it because
will
it's
increase
accurate
tomorrow across most
to
of
a
the
point, but
state. And then as we
more
get
accurate,
into tomorrow
accurate
afternoon, sunshine,
than
and then
anybody
tomorrow
else.
night,
Anyway,
you can see our next
here's a
upper level
guy.
storm system
Just
trying to kick
pay
in from the
attention and
west.
watch it if
Now,
you
a lot of
want.
this
And
rain,
you don't know well,
you
but
know, is going to be very light on the borderland.
keep your
the
eye
Big
out
Bend, the
and
Trans-Pecos,
your
the
ear out
Permian
on it, and
Basin.
your eye
And
that
there is
he
even
is
some question is if some of this is even going to reach the ground due to dry air in the low levels. But at this point, this does not look like any sort of substantial precipitation event. Maybe a couple sprinkles or just enough to dampen roads and ground as we go into the weekend. Now, as we take a look at the longer range American weather model heading into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you can see that storm system quickly moving east, maybe a couple of scattered showers of storms eastern half of Texas Friday afternoon, Friday evening, into Saturday morning. Behind it, a very strong cold front with strong north winds will bring an end to any sort of warm weather we have yet to experience on Friday. Now, as we go into Saturday night, Sunday morning, maybe some light snow possible in the panhandle. At this point, a dry, powdery snow possible, maybe a half inch to an inch there. If that happens, some blowing snow will be possible. Nothing like last week. As we go into Sunday, most of the state's dry. Monday, same story. It's cold. Make no mistake about it. Saturday, Sunday onward, it's going to be cold. And it's going to get colder next week. Now, as we go into portions of Monday night, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I've paused this here. Let's go through some caveats about what I'm showing you. This is the Global Forecast System American Long Range Weather Model. For those of you weather-savvy folks, this is the 6 Zulu run. This model is run 4 times a day, and this is the midnight run. What I'm showing you here is what this model thinks is going to happen at a single point in time. We're talking 5, 6, 7 days in advance. I want to be perfectly clear. What you're seeing here should only give you a general basic timeline. This is probably going to change a dozen times between now and next week. Locations, timing, etc. Do not take this to the bank. The reason I'm showing you this in video format is simply to convey a general idea of what we may be dealing with versus, you know, just posting a single model graphic on social media without any sort of caption context. So, you know, let's take this for what it is now that I've given you those caveats. As we go into Monday night and Tuesday morning, we may start to see a round of precipitation develop, especially across the southern half of Texas. Now, this does not look like it's particularly heavy in the sense of, you know, holy moly guacamole, but temperatures are going to be cold. And you can see this model depicting a winter mix, generally from Del Rio, south of San Antonio to Victoria to southwest of Galveston, points north, up into portions of the hill country, southeast Texas, the Brazos Valley. Light, with temperatures above freezing, South Texas, Rio Grande Plains, in the Rio Grande Valley. If this were to happen, and there is some support to say it may, light accumulations of winter weather precipitation would be possible, which could impact travel. Now, as we continue on through Tuesday, you can see this generally sticks around through the day. Again, it's mostly light, but notice as we get into Tuesday night, temperatures falling into South Texas, a winter mix possible down into the Rio Grande Plains, becoming coastal bend. We could have sleet, freezing rain, light, maybe even some snow. Laredo, Corpus Christi, and still this shows rain in Brownsville, but we'll see. maybe some light snow, southeast Texas, coastal plains, central Texas, Golden Triangle. We're not even going to try to nitpick precipitation types, freezing rain, sleet, snow, whatever at this point. I'm just showing you this, and we'll actually show some probability graphics here in a minute or two. But there is model support. Even if it's not a majority solution yet, confidence is increasing. We are probably going to have to deal with some at least light winter precipitation Monday night, Tuesday, maybe even into Wednesday of next week, especially across the southern half, southeastern half of Texas. Now, there is other data to suggest it would expand further northwest. We're looking into some of that now. As we get into Wednesday, you can see we still have pockets of light winter precipitation. Central Texas, southeast Texas, the Brazos Valley, the Golden Triangle. I want to emphasize, bold, underline the word light. But if, temperatures are as cold as they could be, below freezing, well, it only takes 1/100th of an inch of ice on objects to turn them into skating rinks, so... And then as we continue on into Wednesday night, you can see actually it starts to expand north, become a bit heavier, and this would be another upper-level storm system. You can see we just have it's a complex pattern next week, but we may have multiple periods of lift, which could provide enough oomph to generate some light precipitation in our cold environment, which may allow for a relatively long duration but not continuous duration of light winter precipitation. So here's, midnight Thursday. You could see this would have winter precipitation ongoing. Texoma, North Texas, Central Texas, the Brazos Valley, Northeast Texas, temperatures rising above freezing, South Texas, Southeast Texas, kind of like we done last week with the freezing line moving north. We're talking about an event 7 days away. And I'll let this actually play out in a complete loop now. Maybe you can hear me better now. Isn't it nice? This is just to say, confidence is very high. It is going to be cold next week. Very cold. Colder than last week. And some folks, northern half, maybe even, northern 60% of Texas may spend a couple days below freezing, meaning temperatures may not get above freezing during the daytime hours, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We have low to medium confidence that we could be dealing with winter precipitation at times, which could produce travel impacts. Now, we are still way too far out to try to nitpick down a specific time range, try to pin down accumulations, precipitation types, etc., besides the fact whatever falls could result in some travel issues. That's all I'm going to say about that for now, minus the probability graphics we're going to look at in a minute. Those might be a more useful way to convey the general timing sense. But again, this is a single weather model, deterministic. By deterministic, it's one model, singular. This specific model has about 30 ensembles, or the same model run under slightly different parameters. The European weather model, which I'm not showing you here just for the sake of time, shows a similar solution. It has 50-ish ensembles. So, I'm showing you one model here, but in essence, there are well over 100 different, data sets. So this is not a guaranteed take-to-the-bank situation. Things are going to change. We saw that very clearly last week, even inside of 24 hours. So we're just trying to kind of nitpick the trends, follow the trends. I guess not even nitpick, but just, follow the trends here. And the trend has been increasing confidence, but still on the low side of winter precipitation next week. Confidence in the cold Arctic air, very high. All right, let's take a look at some probability graphics. Now, this is a relatively new system that's still experimental. This takes all the model data, puts it into a system to where we can set up probabilities. Now, I realize this map is, it's not the prettiest map, but for those of you who can't, nitpick it out to see it, pretty much the entire state of Texas from Monday through Thursday next week, not all the days of that, but just that general time frame, have a 15 to 50% probability of receiving at least a trace amount of sleet or snow. These numbers have come up since yesterday, which is why we're talking about the potential for winter weather. Notice I said a trace. So, just a dusting or flurries. That's all I'm trying to nitpick here right now. I'm not trying to, narrow down corridors of where we could see a few inches of snow. I'm not trying to nitpick down where, the most favorable zone is here. I'm just trying to let you know, overall, there are signals in extended weather model land that we could be dealing with some winter weather at times next week. And that could include, but not necessarily guaranteed, to encompass a majority of the state, which I guess in itself, the most recent analog to that would be 2021, in the sense of the possibility of some winter precipitation encompassing, a majority of Texas. That does not guarantee we're going to be dealing with 6 to 12 inches of snow. In fact, I'd say no to that. This looks light, but, area-wise, yes. In terms of the amount, significance, no. And that does not also, and I'm not even talking temperatures from 2021, to be clear. And we'll look at the temperatures in a minute. Now, here is a different graphic. This is actually a graphic that shows the freezing rain potential, ice. And I'm showing you this because there's actually a bit of a higher signal. We could be dealing with some accumulating ice, light, but still enough to cause travel issues. Honestly, all the way from the lower, the Rio Grande Valley, McAllen, all the way up through the Rio Grande Plains, Edwards Plateau, South Texas, South Central Texas, the Coastal Plains, Southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle. So this would probably be a situation where, multiple precipitation types, going from rain where temperatures are just above freezing, South Padre Island maybe, to freezing rain, to sleet, to snow with northwestward extent. Perhaps. That's kind of a assumption there. But again, there are signals we're going to be dealing with some winter weather next week in terms of precipitation. So check back for updates on that, because any even light ice accumulations would be detrimental to travel. But for today, hey, guess what? We're not doing that. Today's high temperature forecast across the state, 40s up in the Panhandle, West Texas, Davis, Guadalupe Mounds. It's actually going to be pretty cool down in the South Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Highs only in the upper 40s, low 50s. Warmest locations today, Edwards Plateau through the Hill Country, Central Texas into East Texas, highs in the 50s. Tomorrow, we're looking at highs across most of the state, upper 50s to upper 60s, not bad. Friday will be the warmest day we see this week and for quite a while, with highs mostly in the 60s and 70s, with the exception of the Panhandle and the Guadalupe Mounds, highs in the 50s. Crashly, the cold front comes in Friday night. These are going to be high temperatures Saturday after 6 a.m., which means anything from 6 a.m. onward is the high temperature, meaning those of you in the Panhandle, you're not getting above 32 degrees on Saturday. Wind chills probably in the single digits. Highs early Saturday morning, Permian Basin, North Texas, Northeast Texas, Central Texas, upper 40s to 50s, dropping into the 30s and 40s by the afternoon. Edwards Plateau, South Central Texas, Southeast Texas, you probably are going to make it up into the 60s, low 70s before temperatures crash down Saturday evening. And deep South Texas, guess what? Rio Grande Plains, Rio Grande Valley, y'all are going to get a nice day. 70s to low 80s. Enjoy it, because even y'all will be getting in on the cold air as we get into Sunday. Now, here are the low temperature forecasts going into Sunday morning. Temperatures into the single digits, wind chills probably near 10 below. In the Panhandle, low teens in the West Texas, wind chills below zero easily. We're looking at temperatures making it into the teens to low 20s. Permian Basin, the Davis Guadalupe Mounds, Trans-Pecos, Concho Valley, North Texas, Texoma, Northeast Texas. Freezing line, well, for all intent and purposes, northwestern two-thirds of the state. Sunday's high temperatures, we're looking at 20s in the Panhandle. Wind chills probably near 10 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not going to get above freezing in West Texas. We're going to struggle to get above freezing in the Northwest Texas, Texoma, northern DFW region. Highs in the 30s, northwestern half of the state. Looking at 40 southeastern half of the state, but still upper 50s down in the Rio Grande Valley. That may have something to do with the cold front arriving a bit later in the day. As we get into Monday morning, lows into the low single digits. Panhandle, West Texas, teens, northwestern half of the state. We're looking at a freeze for pretty much everyone except the Rio Grande Valley. McAllen to Brownsville, y'all will be still in the 40s. Enjoy it because it will get colder. Monday's high temperature forecast. Temperatures may not get above 20 degrees in the Panhandle, if I'm being realistic. Lubbock, we're looking at 28 if you're lucky. It is going to be very cold. Temperatures not getting above freezing the northern third of Texas. I'd say probably along and north of I-20, you're going to struggle to hit freezing on Monday. South of I-20, well, good news. Temperatures in the mid-30s north of I-10 to about 40 degrees. 47 in El Paso. We're looking at temperatures, Uvalde, 37 degrees. Good luck with that. As we go into parts of Houston, 40. 30s East Texas, Northeast Texas. And then as we get into Tuesday morning, we actually have colder air filtering in. Temperatures may get below 0 Fahrenheit. Low single digits below 0 in the Panhandle. We're looking at temperatures getting into the low single digits above 0. West Texas, we're going to see temperatures probably in the low to mid-teens along the north of a line from the Big Bend to the Concho Valley, parts of the Hill Country, North Texas, Texoma, Northeast Texas. We could see a very hard freeze, temperatures below 27 degrees Fahrenheit, all the way down to the Texas Gulf Coast to just northwest of Corpus Christi, including Houston, Beaumont, Laredo, looks like 29, Del Rio, 24. The only folks who may stay above freezing Tuesday morning, McAllen, Brownsville, South Padre Island. So that is what it's looking like temperature-wise. And again, it's going to stay cold going into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. And while I was optimistic yesterday about a bit of a warm-up late next week, it may not happen. We'll see. That doesn't mean we're going to stay brutally cold, but we're kind of trending that way in cold direction as we get towards Thursday, Friday next week. And while I'm not showing it here, there are some indications in extended Voodoo weather model land. We may have another precipitation event towards Friday and Saturday next week, which we'd still have cold air in place for. So apparently this is going to be a fun month for winter weather lovers, at least if you like looking at snow maps and looking at every weather model run, hoping you get to play in the pretty snow colors. Here's the Climate Prediction Center temperature outlook as we head into the third week of January. January 20th, Inauguration Day, through the 24th of January. A very good chance we're going to remain cold across the eastern, well, pretty much the eastern 75 to 90% of the continental United States. And we get that big, bad, very mad, spooky color of Barney purple here in Texas. So you better get your winter gear out, because it's not going to warm up again for quite a while. So enjoy those 60s and 70s on Friday, because we're not doing that again probably for a while outside.
I think he did a great job in telling us about our local weather. That last few minutes he goes on about his flight or something. Anyway, I think he did great. I think about talking about our rural area and talking about what's going to happen with our weather. Just be prepared, get your water, get your food as much as you can, the pantry, and please take it easy on the toilet paper. We're not going to get that bad. So just be patient, but be ready for a storm, a winter storm that really going to hit us hard again. Like he said, not like 2021, but it's coming. So be prepared, and our electricity and all that. So have stuff ready. I honestly don't know what to have ready, because this is going to be our second time that this happens. But I'm definitely going to be sure we have plenty of toilet paper in the house. So for you guys, just watch out and be prepared. God bless y'all. Have a great day. I hope you appreciated this video. I really loved it, and hope everything goes well for you guys. Get ready for that winter storm. Thanks, guys.